With Venmo Stash, a toggle on one hand and ordering a ride in the other means you're stacking cash back. With Venmo Stash, get up to 5% cash back when you pick a bundle of your favorite brands. Earn more cash when you do more with Stash. Venmo Stash terms and exclusions apply. Max $100 cash back per month. See terms at venmo.me/stash terms.
For adults with Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis symptoms, every choice matters. Tremfya offers self-injection or intravenous infusion from the start. Tremfya is administered as injections under the skin or infusions through a vein every 4 weeks, followed by injections under the skin every 4 or 8 weeks. If your doctor decides that you can self-inject Tremfya, proper training is required. Tremfya is a prescription medicine used to treat adults with moderately to severely active Crohn's disease and adults with moderately to severely active ulcerative colitis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Explore what's possible. Ask your doctor about Tremfya today. Call 1-800-526-7736 to learn more or visit tremfyaradio.com.
When it comes to gifting, everyone on your list deserves something special. Luckily, Marshall's buyers travel far and wide, hustling for great deals on amazing gifts so you don't have to. That means your mom gets that cashmere sweater, your best friend, that Italian leather bag, your coworkers unwrap their favorite beauty brands, and your nephews, the coolest new toys. Go ahead. At prices this good, you can grab something for yourself, too. Marshalls. We get the deals, you gift the good stuff. Shop now at marshalls.com or find a store near you.
Welcome to the Covert Narcissism Podcast. I'm your host, Renee Swanson. I am not a therapist, and you are not a victim. Today, we are diving into a topic that gets wildly confusing in this trauma world and relationship world: the difference between codependency and fawning. You see, many survivors of covert narcissistic abuse have been told by therapists, friends, family, books, even themselves, that they're codependent. But what they were actually doing was fawning, and this is very different. Fawning is a trauma response that their nervous system used to survive an unsafe and unpredictable environment. These are not the same thing. So today we're going to break all this down. We'll talk about what fawning really is, what codependency really is, how to tell the difference, and why this misunderstanding keeps so many survivors stuck in shame and self-blame. Welcome back to the Covert Narcissism Podcast, where we untangle the patterns that you were trained to blame yourself for and finally explain them in a way that makes sense. Now let's start with, why do we confuse fawning with codependency? And I hear this all the time in coaching sessions. So a woman sits across from me on Zoom and tears building in her eyes. She says something like, "Renee, I think I'm the problem. I'm just codependent. If I weren't so weak, maybe he wouldn't treat me this way." And every time my heart breaks for them, because what she is describing is not codependency, it's survival. But this gets really confusing, and survivors mislabel this. But here's why. Because both codependency and fawning both involve people pleasing, both look compliant to the outside world, both involve prioritizing the other person, both can make you lose your sense of self. But the why behind them, the why behind codependency and fawning, they're worlds apart. So let's look at this. What really is fawning? So fawning is a trauma response. It's right there with fight and flight. It's fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. But fawning is socially focused. It's not, fight and flight are not socially focused, but fawning is. Fawning says, if I can calm you down, then I stay safe. It is an involuntary, automatic reaction to danger. Hear what I'm saying here. It is an automatic reaction to danger. If you were out in the wilderness and all of a sudden a bear is in front of you, you're going to run from that bear. You can't control that reflex. This is involuntary and automatic. If you're in the house and your house catches on fire or the building you're in catches on fire, you are going to react to that. You are going to run from that environment. This is automatic and involuntary. Fawning is the same type of response, but this is a response to emotional danger. So, with this emotional danger, and we're going to talk about what that is, this is an involuntary and automatic reaction to emotional danger. Now, what is the emotional danger? The silent treatment, passive aggressive behavior, punishment, sudden mood drops, explosive anger, cold withdrawal, unpredictable criticism, guilt trips. And it often shows up in relationships where leaving feels impossible. This is in relationships where you're trapped. Most of us do not fawn to the person in the grocery store, this total stranger who maybe guilt trips us and it lasts about 30 seconds. We don't fawn in that environment. We fawn in an environment where we're trapped. We're trapped either emotionally, financially, socially, spiritually, even physically. Now, let me give you an example here. You sit down at the dinner table, and immediately you feel it. The air is too still. He or she is quiet, but not a peaceful quiet. It's that slow building pressure of something is wrong here. And you know it. You know what I'm talking about. They don't look at you. Instead, they sigh once very loudly, and your stomach drops. Without even thinking, you shift into the fawn response. You ask cheerful questions. You offer to get them a drink. You apologize even though you don't really know what you're apologizing for. You keep your voice soft, small, peaceful. You try to make the evening easy for them. Not because you want their approval, not because you think it will save the relationship, because your body believes if they're upset, I'm unsafe. If I can soothe them, I might survive the night. That is fawning. This is a trauma response. It's instinctive, it's involuntary, it's unchosen. It just happens. Now let's talk about codependency. Codependency is different. It is a relationship pattern, not a trauma response. It is shaped by childhood roles, beliefs about your own self-worth, responsibility for other people's emotions. It's the need to be needed. I want you to remember that one, the need to be needed. It's finding identity in caretaking, avoiding abandonment by staying useful. It's not about avoiding danger. It's about avoiding disconnection. Codependency says if I can fix you, then maybe you'll love me. Maybe you'll stay. Maybe you'll connect with me. So let me give you an example that explains this. Let's say you have a friend, okay? Let's call her Stephanie. And Stephanie bounces from crisis to crisis. She can't pay her rent. She has a bad breakup, a toxic job, depression, another breakup, another financial disaster. You spend hours talking her down, helping her apply for jobs, creating budgets, giving her rides to here and there, lending her money. She doesn't threaten you. You're not scared of her or her reactions to things. You're not trying to keep yourself safe, but you are trying to help her, to rescue her, to feel valued by her, to feel connected to her. That is codependency. It's the same external behaviors, but very different internal motives. So here's where survivors of covert narcissistic abuse get confused. You see, they often assume that they're codependent because they apologize constantly, they make themselves small, they manage the emotions of their partner, yes, They absorb the blame. They put his or her needs first. They work overtime to keep the peace. But here's the truth that these survivors really need to hear, that you really need to hear. Most of what they call codependency was actually fawning. Fawning is a survival strategy that's activated by fear of punishment, by chronic unpredictability, by emotional intimidation, subtle threats, abandonment manipulation, volatile mood swings, physical fear sometimes, the risk of being shamed, ignored, or punished. And here's what gets even more confusing. Many survivors of covert narcissistic abuse actually are dealing with both. Childhood conditioning leads to codependency, but the adult trauma, that leads to fawning. So when you fawn in adulthood, this feels familiar, but the root of it is completely different. Let's look at some side-by-side examples here. So example number 1 is when you say it's okay even when you're still hurt. So let me give you a fawning example here. You're standing in the kitchen, you're rinsing dishes, you gently mention that your partner, made a comment earlier that really hurt your feelings. Well, their face shifts instantly. The air changes, their jaw tightens, their eyes go cold, and you feel that familiar drop in your stomach. You know this moment. You know what comes next. The silent treatment, the lecture that you're too sensitive, the emotional shutdown that can last for days. So before they even react, your words spill out of you. Hey, it's okay. It's fine. Don't worry about it. You don't say that because you're unbothered. You don't say that because you want to smooth things over for the sake of connection. No, you say it because you're bracing for their storm. Your nervous system is calculating the danger here. Your body is thinking, if I minimize my hurt, maybe they won't punish me. This isn't appeasing for closeness. This is appeasing for safety. Now let's compare that with
With Venmo Stash, a taco in one hand and ordering a ride in the other means you're stacking cash back. Nice. Get up to 5% cash back with Venmo Stash on your favorite brands when you pay with your Venmo debit card. From takeout to rideshares, entertainment, and more, pick a bundle with your go-tos and start earning cash back at those brands. Earn more cash when you do more with Stash. Venmo Stash terms and exclusions apply. Max $100 cash back per month. See terms at venmo.me/stash terms.
When it comes to gifting, everyone on your list deserves something special. Luckily, Marshall's buyers travel far and wide, hustling for great deals on amazing gifts so you don't have to. That means your mom gets that cashmere sweater, your best friend, that Italian leather bag, your coworkers unwrap their favorite beauty brands, and your nephews, the coolest new toys. Go ahead. At prices this good, you can grab something for yourself, too. Marshalls, we get the deals, you gift the good stuff. Shop now at marshalls.com or find a store near you.
codependency example. Your friend forgets your birthday lunch. You waited at the cafe for 45 minutes before finally texting her. And she replies, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I completely spaced it." She quickly, gets herself together and arrives. She's flustered and apologizing. And you wave your hand and immediately say, "Hey, it's okay. Really, it's totally fine." Now, this is not fawning because there is no threat. There's no emotional punishment looming. There's no silent treatment or explosive reaction from her. Instead, what you're trying to avoid is making her feel bad. You're trying to avoid creating this awkwardness or seeming too emotional. You're avoiding risking conflict. You're avoiding appearing that, you need something. You want the relationship to stay smooth. You want to be liked, not rejected. Your hurt gets pushed aside because connection feels better at this point. That's codependency. It's not survival. You're not afraid of her, but you're willing to push your own needs, your own feelings, your own emotions aside. Let's go to example number 2. You prioritize someone else's needs above your own. Here's a fawning example. It's 10 p.m. at night. You're exhausted. You've been on your feet all day, work, errands, dinner, kids, laundry. You finally sit down with a cup of tea. This is your first quiet moment of the day. And he or she walks into the room and sighs loudly. That trash still isn't out, he mutters under his breath. Well, you know the pattern. The sigh is a warning. The mutter is a prelude. This can turn into hours of icy silence, sarcastic comments, or explosive rage. Even though your legs ache, even though you're physically exhausted from the weight of the day, you jump up, you take out the trash, you wipe the counters again, you do all the things that you think will be a problem later. Not because you want to, not because you're trying to maintain harmony for mutual benefit. You're doing it because your body thinks if I don't fix this right now, I'm in danger of emotional punishment. You're not prioritizing his needs, you're prioritizing your safety. Now let's compare that to codependency. Your coworker calls you, overwhelmed. She needs help finishing a project that she procrastinated on. You already have plans to relax tonight. You've been drained all week. Again, it's been a long day. You're tired. But the moment that she says, I just don't know what to do, I'm such a mess, your chest tightens with responsibility. You cancel your evening plans. You stay up late helping her, not to avoid danger, not out of fear of punishment. She's not going to punish you, but because you feel responsible to help her. You worry that what she'll think if you say no. You're used to being the helper. You feel guilty prioritizing your own needs, and you fear disappointing someone you care about. You're trading your own needs to feel valuable, not to stay safe. That's codependency. The last example I want to give you is when we walk on eggshells. The fawning example is you come home and you can sense it before you even see them. The house is too quiet, the energy is off. They don't greet you. You hear this slow, controlled movements in the kitchen. He's in, or he or she is in their upset place. You move quietly, carefully. You monitor every word. You rehearse what you're going to say before you say it. You avoid mentioning the traffic, or the kids arguing, or the bill that came in the mail, because you know that any neutral comment could trigger the spiral. You're walking on eggshells because one wrong sentence means emotional consequences. Things like the silent treatment, blame, guilt, withdrawal, maybe the line of, you always ruin everything. Your steps are small because your safety depends on it. Now let's compare that to codependency. You're dating someone new. They're kind, they're not dangerous, but you still carefully watch their reactions during conversations. You choose your words hoping that they will think that you're easygoing. You hesitate to share your real preferences because you don't want to be too much. You pretend that you don't care what you eat or where you eat, even though you kind of do. You hide your disappointment if they cancel plans. You stay agreeable so they won't pull away. You're walking on eggshells not because you fear punishment, but because you fear rejection. You're trying to manage the relationship rather than risk being authentically yourself. Again, that's codependency, and this is different than fawning. Now, why do these examples matter? They matter because survivors often blame themselves without realizing it. The behaviors that they call codependent and thus blame on themselves during abuse was actually fawning. It's automatic, involuntary survival responses. The behaviors that they call fawning in safe relationships are often codependency. This is learned patterns of overfunctioning and self abandonment. Recognizing this difference removes the shame and opens the door to healing. So, I want to give you a simple test that you can give yourself. When you adjust your behavior for someone, I want you to ask yourself, am I doing this because I'm afraid of what will happen if I don't? That's fawning. Or am I doing this because I think I need to be this way in order to be loved and accepted? That's codependency. Your body knows the difference. It's time to catch your awareness up to it. When survivors mistake fawning for codependency, they often end up blaming themselves for behaviors that were never voluntary. Just like running out of a burning building would not be involuntary. Survivors say things like, I should have had better boundaries. Why did I let them treat me that way? I'm the type who just lose myself in relationships. But what I want to say clearly is this. You did not lose yourself. You protected yourself. Hear that again. You did not lose yourself. You protected yourself. There is nothing shameful about a survival response. Your body was doing the best it could in an environment that was harming you. That's not codependency. That's survival. And now that you're safe or working towards safety, you can begin to unwind the trauma responses that kept you alive, that kept you safe, not through shame, but with self-compassion. If you take one thing away from today's episode, I want it to be this. Fawning is not a personality trait. It is not a flaw. It is not codependency. It is your nervous system trying to save you, like your body would running from a fire. You deserve to move through your healing without the weight of undeserved self-blame. Your story matters. Your responses made sense. You are not weak. You were surviving. And now you get to learn a new way to live where survival is not the goal, freedom is. I wish you so much peace on that journey of healing. You have been listening to the Covert Narcissism Podcast, where we break apart the insidious nature of these incredibly destructive and infinitely frustrating individuals. If you are caught up in this crazy-making relationship and drowning in self-doubt, guilt, or rumination, please reach out to me anytime. I offer individualized live coaching in both group and individual settings. We can find the right program for you. You do not need to go through this alone. You can find all of that information on my website at covertnarcissism.com. You can also reach out to me by email at Renee, RENEE, at covertnarcissism.com. I do look forward to hearing from each and every one of you. Remember, I am not a therapist, and you are not a victim. I am a coach, and you are a survivor. The information provided by Renee Swanson, Covert Narcissism Podcast, and CNG Life Coaching is for educational purposes only and is not to be used for diagnosis purposes. It is not intended to be a substitute for clinical care. Please consult a healthcare provider for guidance specific to your case. This material discusses narcissism in general. Renee shares stories from her personal experience as well as from those that she has worked with for several years. Her material does not claim that any specific person has narcissism and should not be used to refer to any specific person as having narcissism. Permission is not granted to link to or repost this material to support an allegation or support a claim that any specific person is a narcissist. That would be an unauthorized misuse of the material and the information provided. Thank you.
Hey, it's Austin James. If you're like me, trying to live your best life while living with diabetes, you can relate to worrying if you're doing a good job managing your diabetes. I use the Freestyle Libre 3 Plus sensor to get real-time glucose readings and see the impact of every meal and activity to make better decisions. The Freestyle Libre 3 Plus sensor can help me live life with diabetes on my own terms, and it gives me more time for the things I love, like being a dad and a musician. Now this is progress. Learn more at freestylelibre.us.
For prescription only. Safety info found at freestylelibre.us.
With Venmo Stash, a taco in one hand and ordering a ride in the other means you're stacking cash back. Nice. Get up to 5% cash back with Venmo Stash on your favorite brands when you pay with your Venmo debit card. From takeout to rideshares, entertainment and more, pick a bundle with your go-tos and start earning cash back at those brands. Earn more cash when you do more with Stash. Venmo Stash terms and exclusions apply. Max $100 cash back per month. See terms at venmo.me/stash terms.
Score holiday gifts everyone wants for way less at your Nordstrom Rack store. Save on UGG, Nike, Rag & Bone, Vince, Frame, Kurt Geiger London, and more.
Because there's always something new.
I'm giving all the gifts this year with that extra 5% off when I use my Nordstrom credit card. Santa who?
Join the Nordy Club at Nordstrom Rack to unlock our best deals. It's easy. Big gifts, big perks. That's why you rack.
Extra value meals are back. For just $5, get a savory and sweet sausage, egg, and cheese McGriddles, plus hash browns and a coffee. Only at McDonald's.
For limited time only. Prices and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Hawaii, Alaska, and California, and for delivery.
If you like the show, please take a moment to rate, review, and subscribe. It really does help the show to grow. Thank you for listening.